Good late afternoon, early evening to everybody. Thanks for watching the Coach's Box tonight. Ray Halbrook here, owner of Livestream STL. Hope everybody's having a great afternoon here. Maybe coming home from work or just hanging around the house. And so we are jumping right in here right away here. We've got a full boat here today. And we are looking at, yes, absolutely, we're the Brady Bunch today. And we've got quite a few folks on here. The most guests we've ever had for a Coach's Box here. We've got Robert Kuehnle from the Jefferson Blue Jays. We also have Kevin Lucas from the Hillsboro Hawks baseball program, and Don Jeffries, AD and softball coach of the Grandview Eagles. I've got everybody on. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Good deal. And I've got Matt Schutte over here. Matt, I'm going to just turn it over to you here, and we're just going to take it away and get rolling right away here with our segments here.
All right. Actually, I'm going to defer to Riley Blair on this. Riley, we were talking in the pre-show a little bit, and the Herkey family lost an important member this week, and I thought you might want to speak about that for a moment.
Yeah, earlier this week we lost a true black cat. In Harry Goodwin passed away. What was this one of the truest black cat fans you can ever meet. Was probably at every facility, every opportunity there was a basketball game in our district, or a football game, or a baseball game, or a softball game. It didn't matter. He was a part of it, and lost him. And what a great guy he was, a great person, and his family during this time, a very difficult time for them, and I'm going to wish them the best of anything that they're dealing with at this time. And we definitely our thoughts and prayers are with them, but he'll definitely be missed in the Black Cat community. And farewell to Mr. Black Cat, and wish him well.
All right, thank you. And we'll get started. We got our 3-segment format tonight. We've got our 9-box here. We can handle up to 100 guests. I don't know how that'll work out. I think so. Coach Jarvis was saying they're going to have a football team meeting here soon on Zoom, so we'll see how that turns out with having 50 kids on there at once. He'll give us a report on that whenever they get that going. But what we're going to do, we're going to expand a little bit this evening. We've been talking a lot of basketball the last few weeks, as not a surprise given the coaches that we've got here. But we're going to expand a little bit, talk about spring sports this week. So we got Don, Kevin, and Robert with us to talk about their respective schools with Hillsboro and Grandview and Jefferson. So, gentlemen, welcome, and thanks for joining the program this evening.
Thank you for having us.
So,
thank you.
What we have learned here in week 4, in the previous 3 weeks, is that when I ask a general question, I need to ask a specific person to give an answer. Otherwise, everybody's talking over each other, and it gets to be a whole thing. And what we've also learned is some of you coaches a bit of a loud talker. Some of you, and used to talking over each other players, officials, whatnot, assistant coaches. So I'll throw a couple questions out there. I'll kind of direct it towards one of you, and then we'll kind of take it from there if that sounds all right. So what we want to talk about now is we've got Riley, who coaches track over at Herkey, but otherwise we don't have much in the way of spring sport coaches with us here, and you guys are all directly impacted by what's going on with the school closures and everything. So Robert, let's just start with you. What kind of a season were you looking forward to, and how's things been with the closures?
Well, we had a great 2 weeks of practice. Me and my assistants, we actually talk every other night on Google Hangout. We try to develop kind of new stuff for our kids and kind of really dive in deep with hitting, pitching, fielding, what have you, just to kind of keep our mind sharp. But the first 2 weeks of practice were amazing. There wasn't one time that we lost focus. Everybody was 100% on. And, we were really looking forward to a great season this year.
Gotcha. And Kevin, how about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty excited. We were hoping to come in and defend our Class 5, district championship from last year, and we had a lot of guys returning. We had 8 seniors, and a lot of those guys, we've got, I think, 4 of them are going to go on and play some college baseball. And so, I thought we had a pretty good group. We had some young guys coming in that were going to fill in some holes, and it was a really good group. It's just unfortunate that we just didn't get to, get out on the field. But yeah, I mean, we were excited. This was a group that we thought might be able to, do a little bit this year again. And and just things happen. And so hopefully those guys can go on and have a good collegiate career and, and enjoy themselves, even though they didn't get to have the senior year they would have liked.
Right. And Don, it's a little different for you because you're overseeing a program with multiple spring sports. What's the feedback you've been getting from your coaches?
Very disappointed, obviously. One thing, too, and I'm sure our two other baseball coaches would agree with this, this was one of the best first weeks you ever had weather-wise. So you were able to get outside, put a lot of things in, and we weren't gym rats and taking over the basketball floor. And Coach Ketcher's side, he was actually the lone guy that actually got a chance to compete against other schools because that Friday before everything was shut down, we had our jamboree. He was really excited about what he saw there. I was excited about softball. One thing at Grandview, we have a lot of shared athletes with the girls athletes with track and softball. And we had the schedule set to where basically there wouldn't be any conflicts as far as a track meet and a softball game occurring on the same day. We had two pitchers I felt pretty good about with Savannah Murray and Natalie Moore, had a solid catcher in Jordan Zoff. And when you have those two positions in good shape, a lot of other things fall into place. I feel for our seniors, obviously, Zoe Snyder, Jordan Zoff, Sarah Faust, and Haley Harlow. They won't get a chance to finish out their career as Grandview Lady Eagles. But I also feel for those juniors that were about ready to get those. We had a couple of juniors that were going to get their first chance that was their position. They were going to be moving up in the batting order and in more prevalent spots. And now they miss out on those opportunities. So it's very disappointing. I know Coach Dallas, since you asked about all three sports, he was real excited about what he saw in track. And they had a lot of great things coming back as far as kids that went to sectionals and state. And when you get a situation like this, I mean, there are no winners in this whatsoever.
Right. And Kevin, I was thinking about the Hillsboro baseball today because I had seen a story where minor league baseball at the national level has agreed with Major League Baseball. They're going to significantly reduce the number of teams that participate, that play in minor league baseball throughout the country. And I was thinking of Michael Brewer and missed opportunities that he's got this year because it would have been a fantastic spring for him to get out and showcase himself. Have you had any contact with him? Or
I have not had any since, I guess, right before we got shut down. He had texted me the day they found out they were getting sent home. He had texted me about coming to throw with us and stuff. And then after we found out that we were shut down, I had to text him and tell him, he was going to have to find somewhere else to go. But I haven't really had a chance to talk to him, since. I mean, just with everything else going on with dealing with my family, trying to make sure they're staying safe and stuff. I just haven't had a chance. I mean, I'm sure he's trying to do whatever he can to, keep himself sharp. But yeah, I was just talking with my assistants, the other day about how, it's a bummer for him because, hopefully something will get to, he'll get to get out and do something. But yeah, I mean, this was going to be an exciting year for him. I mean, last year he just went to Arizona and just threw bullpens. I say just, but I mean, he was, he didn't get to be, put on a team last year. He was just throwing some bullpens and shagging for BP. So this would have been a big year for him to try to get out and, prove himself and, set a tone for his career.
So, and Riley, we didn't get to you, but you're coaching a spring sport as well. You're a track and field coach at Perky. We've touched on it briefly in previous episodes, but what were some highlights that you were kind of hoping for this year?
Yeah.
Anybody you had kind of had an eye on as far as making an impact this year for you?
Well, Coach Jeffries kind of hit it on. We had a great first 2 weeks of practice, being able to be out on the track every single day, putting a lot of work in. And, we had a really good group this year coming back. I thought we had a good shot to maybe possibly win a district title and possibly a sectional title. And, Coach Davis was taking over the helm as the head track coach for both the boys and the girls this year. And, had a lot of high expectations for the squad. And, we had a a distance runner and Jonathan Kaufman. He was coming back and shooting for that state championship in the 2 mile and the 1 mile. So, we had a lot of kids that were having some opportunity that were really exceeding and coming back from some injuries. And, you just hate it for those kids and the opportunity that they didn't get to have from their senior perspective. But for the most part, I thought, we had some high expectations for our program and some good things, and just hated that we were not able to do that. But, for some of those things, I think that, you look back at it and say that, make the most out of every opportunity. And I think those kids, you've seen them out on the streets running, and if you're out and about, you're just seeing those kids try to put some work in and on their own, and which I think is important, and hopefully that'll carry over for them.
Gotcha. And let's move on to something that's come up since the last time we chatted last week. We'll open this up to everybody. The Missouri State High School Athletics Association came out with an update, if you will, and it's talking about they're going to eliminate, or at least eliminate, the mandatory dead week for this coming year, and instead of leave it. And I read it as they're leaving it as an option. Schools want to take that. So, Don, you're the athletic director. We'll start with you. What impact does that missive from Misha have on Grandview?
Well, here's how I view this. Until we can have more than 10 people in a given area, I think it's going to be hard to get. It sounds great in theory, but is this just going to be another one of those things where you're given something and then it's taken away? I feel like we've left our spring sport kids in limbo a little bit of, okay, we're going to just be through this date. Okay, then that date gets here, and then we prolong it to April 24th. Okay, then that date gets taken away, and then the whole season's over. Okay, well, maybe we'll get a chance to play in the summer. I haven't shared it a whole lot because I feel like these kids have had enough disappointment. Until I know 100% for sure that we're going to be able to do something, I don't want to plan something, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because they had graduation ready for May 18th. They had a prom that they were getting excited about on April 25th, this coming up Saturday. And those things were ripped away from them. And I just don't want to put something else out there that's going to be taken away from seniors or be taken away from these underclassmen getting ready for their seasons coming up.
Robert, what did you think when you heard about that? Kind of the same boat, or?
Well, I agree with Don, but, we're planning for everything. If we come back in July, if we come back in June, if we come back at the beginning of August, we're just trying to plan for everything. But we're just not releasing those plans just because, kids have had a lot of disappointment. And we don't know if Legion's still going to have a state season. We don't know, we really just don't know too much. So until we get some definitive answers, it's really just planning to this point.
Gotcha. Kevin? Uh-oh. Is Kevin frozen?
I'm not sure if we still have Kevin or not. Let me check.
I thought it was just an extra calm demeanor, so I didn't think he was frozen.
We have him off there.
Looks like we lost him.
Well, while we get Kevin back,
yeah, we'll get him back.
Chris Miller, dead week, lack of dead week. What your thoughts, sir?
Well, I think it's kind of like what Coach Jeffries said. I can't really make any plans for anything right now. I don't want to get the kids' hopes up. I think if things do work out, it's going to be beneficial. That Misha kind of steps back and allows everybody to be able to do stuff and doesn't put a bunch of restrictions on things. But at the same time, I had an idea of what I wanted to do going into the summer, and we haven't put anything together because it's still so far up in the air. So I'm just going to kind of wait and see what happens, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, Jason, Jarvis?
They announced that, and until we know we can even have contact with our kids, what's it even mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing that I'm looking at is, yeah, I can plan all this stuff. We have, league nights that we plan for basketball, all these other things we want to do. And, right now it's just not looking good that we're going to get to do any of those. So I'm not getting my hopes up, and I'm not sending stuff out to my kids about that yet. until we know a more definite answer of what's going to go on.
And I think with summer basketball, Jason, your daughter and my daughter played summer ball together. Had a chance to play in the Hillsboro League. Don Jeffries, I know you guys have some. You're graduating from some seniors from that girls basketball team, but you've got a couple exciting underclassmen. A summer of ball would probably benefit them. So I think it's impacting all of us, in some way, shape, or form. So the tough situation, I think, for all of us to deal with. Kevin, you're back. Welcome. How are you?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not good with technology.
No, that's perfectly all right. So we were just talking a little bit about the dead week restriction, the lift, and then Tilden Watson was talking about it today at Pius. That's the week that we're set up to have our gym floor redone. So do we need to change that? Those sorts of things. So Ray, from a non-coach perspective, but a fan perspective, any thoughts whatsoever about that?
That's a good question. I'll be real honest. I'm feeling, just talking with Don earlier today, and even Kevin and Robert. Just the floundering and the hurry up and wait, and the we're just twiddling our thumbs here in a lot of areas, but in other areas, I can kind of see where you guys are coming from, as far as the, putting things in place, putting things, kind of on a tentative scale and whatnot. So I understand that, but I think, we do feel, and that's why, and I'll put the shameless plug out there, I guess, a little bit, why we're going to try to, highlight the seniors here this week and next week on Thursdays on our Main Street Sports Show. So it's it's something that it's needed, but at the same time, you still feel it. Don and I had the conversation a little bit. Does it even make them feel a little bit more down that we're doing this? I hope not. But at the same time, you've got to do something, because for it to just be overlooked, I feel like is really a, that would be just a real bummer to the schools. And I will tell you this, I haven't even told, Kevin this yet, but, Hillsboro contacted us, later first of the month, this month coming, they asked us to come out and maybe cover, one of their senior, they might be doing like a senior parade or something like that. So, there's things that we can do while we're in waiting, and to go over and not, at least highlight the kids and tell them, hey, you made it to your senior year. You made it this far, and yeah, you're not going to get to play, but we're still going to honor that you've made it this far. And I think that's huge, so I think that's, always try to find the positive spin to it and do what we can do to, send them off with the right vibe, more than anything else.
It's this big unknown that drives us all crazy, right? Especially coaches. You like to have things you can control. And I was at Pius today for just a couple moments and got a couple of phone calls. And are you having summer camps this year? We don't know. Got another phone call. Are you hosting your now annual July 3rd, 4th of July extravaganza, the biggest fireworks show now in the county? We don't know. Is school still going to start in August 17th? We really hope so, but we don't know. It's just so many variables in there driving everybody crazy. I know. So, Ray, I'm going to throw it back to you. Do you want to take a quick break and then we can jump into segment 2?
Yeah, let's do that. We will be right back in just a minute.
All right. So when he does that,
what you guys do for Jefferson County sports, it doesn't go unnoticed by the coaches in all sports.
Yeah,
all sports. That. I have a lot of friends that are head, basketball coaches, and I've been, of course, around Jefferson County all my life and followed all kinds of sports even before I got into the coaching. So what you guys do to help promote it with the kids is unbelievable, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys to take your time and what you do is awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, well, we try, we work hard, and we think they deserve it. The kids deserve to be able to be seen, and if we can turn out kids in the community to better them, get them in college, and make them a better citizen, that's the key.
And I'll say real quick, I really admire what you guys do with this. I think everybody who's ever tuned into one of these, whether it's a Legion game, whether it's a high school baseball game, whether basketball, football, whatever it is, I've heard nothing but tremendous feedback about Livestream STL and what you guys do and the quality of production, things like that. I would really encourage anybody who's involved in athletics throughout the county, or really anywhere in the metro area, anybody who's interested in sponsoring activities to get on board and get involved with this. I think it's added a ton to what we do here. It's added a ton to the program. You guys are a class act. You're committed to doing things the right way, and we really appreciate that.
And we are back here. Thanks for watching the Coach's Box. We are going to let you know about some of our sponsors. Appreciate the sponsors today. Bethesda General Baptist Church. The building where Bethesda Baptist Church meets is at 910 Craig Road in Imperial, but the church is the people who continue to meet needs and minister during this time. Bethesda is honored to sponsor tonight's show. For more information about Bethesda General Baptist Church, give them a call at 314-803-3782. We appreciate the folks over there. Also, Vacations by Michael. Your inspiration for travel never wanes, and for peace of mind. Book with Michael, a travel professional. Give him a call at 314-496-6122. Also, check him out on Facebook, Vacations by Michael. Don't forget, Thursday night, we will have our Seniors 2020 segment for Main Street Sports. We'll have 3 or 4 of the local baseball and softball coaches taking care of highlighting the seniors from each of their schools. And we're going to have a special segment there. Again, that's the Seniors Night 2020 for Main Street Sports with myself and Jeff Whitener. And we're going to come right back here. Don't forget also, I want to make this shout out here. Don't forget our Roku channel. If you'd love to see us on TV, we have a Roku channel. This is how you get a hold of us. You go to videos.tksports.com, and that will get you in. That's $4.99 a month, and I feel that is a pretty cheap price to have Livestream SCL in your bedroom or in your bathroom or in your living room, wherever you want to have it to watch TV. And nowadays you just never know where we're going to be at, since we're all remote and have to be social distanced, so to speak. So check them out. Check our Roku channel out through the TKDS Sports Network. We're going to jump right back in here, guys, and I'm going to turn your mics back on. And here we go. We're going to start with round 2, our second segment here. Matt Schutte, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, so thank you, Ray Halbrook. We're back with our distinguished guest. And, gentlemen, one thing we talked about is what we don't know, and that's a whole lot right now, with when schedules are going to be allowing us to get back on the field with our players and things like that. Are you getting a lot of contact from parents? Are they asking you questions like, what can I have my kid doing? What are you hearing from parents and students, and how are you responding to them? Robert, let's start with you.
I'm talking to a lot of the kids, especially the junior class who has missed their big recruiting year, trying to get them kind of moving forward in the recruiting process, teaching them how to talk to coaches, teaching them how to write letters to coaches, stuff like that. Talking with the parents about what their needs are for a college, what the financial situation looks like, what colleges they're looking to go to. So we've been really trying to hammer that hard. Yeah, a lot of parents are kind of wondering about the whole recruiting aspect of it. What's this going to do to a kid? So that's kind of where we're at.
All right, Kevin, how about you? You hearing a lot from the parents and the students?
Getting a few emails and texts from some parents. Mainly, I've been trying to stay in contact with my seniors as much as possible. With everything they're going through, I mean, this is a this is a tough time. You know, we had a few kids that had signed to go play college baseball before the season started, but then we had a couple more that were hoping to, you know, and so those guys, I just feel really bad for them because they didn't get to get out and kind of show some of those college coaches kind of what they could do. So, you know, my seniors have been the main group I've been staying in contact with, you know, because they're the ones that are missing out on so much. I mean, and so, you know, one of those things that I felt like they needed somebody to be able to talk to. And so it's a great group of kids. And so I've just really stayed in contact with them as much as possible. And, you know, but yeah, it's a tough time, and they keep asking, you know, question after question, but it's hard when you just don't have the answers. Now we do, but at the time we just didn't have the answers.
Are you hearing from any college coaches about those seniors that maybe are looking to play somewhere, or maybe any of your juniors that might have an opportunity?
Yeah, I have heard from a couple of coaches and stuff, and so I have been able to get them in contact with the kids. You know, I haven't heard what's going to happen because I think, you know, some of those coaches, you know, they were hoping to maybe see at the time, they were hoping, you know, maybe we would still have a little bit of a season there at the end. You know, and so now I think it's kind of a waiting game just to kind of see what's going to happen. I don't know if it was going to be just to fill in a spot, or if they were, you know, truly interested in the kids, or what exactly it was. But yeah, there were still some college coaches that were out looking, and I did hear from, and so that was nice. That was good to have, you know, to kind of help those kids out a little bit.
And Don Jeffries, what kind of feedback here are you and your coaches getting from parents and from students, and how have you been responding to them?
We communicate just the basics for the most part on our Facebook page, via mass emails, things of that nature. Something we did last week on the Friday Night Lights, honoring that going on around the country. We added a little something to it. These seniors aren't going to get the traditional senior night. So what we did was have Coach Dallas, Coach Ketcherstein, and myself. During that 20 minutes, we talked a little bit about the overall programs, the preseason, stuff like that, but mainly highlighted our seniors and wanted to let them get a little recognition for everything they've done for the track, baseball, and softball programs. Heard a lot of positive feedback about that. That might be something that other schools may want to try to do on a Friday night, is just give a virtual senior night, as you will. And we invited cars to kind of drive through the main loop of campus. We made it very clear that no one could park their cars. No one could get out of their cars at any point. And we had probably 50 vehicles out there. And for a school our size, we thought that was a really good turnout, and had a lot of positive comments from senior parents about it. I had our superintendent told me today that it meant a lot to his daughter, who's a senior. And that's why we do those things, so that those kids get a little bit of recognition. And I'm sure once this is all lifted, we will probably have some more formalized senior movement, whether it's during the halftime of a football game or before a football game, or something of that nature. I believe we're going to try to do something similar on the night of graduation for our entire senior body, to have just a recognition of those seniors during that 8:20 to 8:40 time. And that's trying to feed off the positive. But again, I'm trying to stay pretty factual in my communications out to parents, because I don't want to give them something to think about or hope for and then have it yanked away, like I said at the beginning. So,
gotcha. And I'm going to shift gears a little bit, and something we talked about on the show a few times, especially got into it depth. I believe it was last week. We talked about officiating at the high school level, and how, like, one of the big challenges. In fact, we were told last week maybe one of the biggest threats to high school basketball is the lack of officials. And I thought I'd ask, we got two baseball coaches here and an athletic director. Are you seeing a like a dwindling number of umpires in the pool that it's available for your games and scheduling, and the quality of the umpires? And what are your thoughts about that? Kevin, let's start with you. Maybe. Kevin might have froze again.
He's frozen.
Is he? Okay. Let's jump on to another person then.
No, I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see me?
Okay.
Oh, hi, Kevin.
Can you see me?
Yes, sir. There you are.
So, yeah, I coach softball and baseball, so I see a lot of the same umpires, and so, but yeah, the number of umpires, I know for our county, especially with our association that we have, there's not very many. I think at one time I heard there were only, 7 or 8 or something like that umpires for the Jefferson County Association. And it seems like there's just some each year tend to, get out of it for one reason or another. And it seems like the numbers keep going down and down. Every once in a while you'll see a couple of younger guys get in, but sometimes they don't even stick around for too many years. I guess it's just not worth the pay, maybe, to have to deal with some of the stuff, maybe.
Robert, what have you seen? You're coaching high school and summer ball as well, right? So,
yeah, softball and baseball.
Gotcha. So, what are you seeing with the umpiring?
Basically the same thing. You kind of see the same guys over and over. It's good and bad. You develop a rapport with those guys, but different umpiring styles you kind of don't get to see anymore because you know who you're going to get. There's good and bads in that as well. I think I read somewhere the average age of an umpire in Michigan right now is like 62 and a half or something like that. So, yeah, young guys just aren't getting into it right now. And, we got to kind of find a way to get young guys into this game, keep these games going.
What do you think the challenge is? Is it the pay? Is it dealing with the parents or dealing with coaches? Or we were told, it was suggested last week when we talked about basketball, I believe it was parents were the number one thing, and then B, the money just wasn't worth maybe all the driving.
It's that. I mean, you work all day and then you get to a high school baseball game or a high school softball game at 4:30, and then you have 2.5 hours or 3 or 4 hours of varsity, JV, and then possibly a couple innings freshman. That's a lot for somebody. And, if the pay's not worth it for them, they're going to get out, obviously. And, no one likes to get yelled at. That's something that, we really stress to our kids and our parents. These are high school umpires. They're not professionals. They're not going to have the fox track coach box. If the ball is 2 inches outside, you might want to try to foul it off because they might punch you out. They might not. You're not really 100% sure. We're pretty lucky to have great umpires, but I can see where some people get frustrated. But, the yelling at the umpires over something trivial, that's just not worth it anymore. We need to keep these guys. Without those guys, we don't get to play.
Well, Don, from an athletic director perspective, is that something you guys talk about at that level?
Oh, it's something we address in our meetings with parents before the seasons even begin. We have a all parent meeting for any of our athletes before the fall, winter, and spring about just different expectations from the athletic department. And we do address officiating. I mean, there's going to be calls that don't go our way. There's going to be calls that probably shouldn't have gone our way. Overall, most times than not, that's going to even out over the course of a game or definitely over a season. And if there is a situation, I mean, one thing I'm going to try to bring to the table is most of our games are recorded at the varsity level. And if a parent does have an issue, one thing I did this year is I would log every single call in a game, and then I would call that parent back and talk to them about, hey, a lot of times it's a 2-minute period that clouds the judgment or the opinion of what a coach, a player, a parent thinks about what that official did. I would like to invite a parent if they would like to come in and watch a game together so we can look at every single call. But more times than not, our parents have been pretty good. I haven't had so many issues. But I could see probably that would be an issue that would make some officials want to get out if the parents are on them all the time. I will say, as far as softball, baseball goes, anytime I've had to make a change, whether it's a softball game for us or a baseball game for Coach Ketcher's side, Cody Mothersbaugh does a great job of being able to adjust and get officials where we need them to be. Because a lot of times Mother Nature, she rules the roost when it comes to spring and fall sports. And when we have to move a game from our location to the away team's location, it hasn't been that big of a deal, whether it was when I've been here at Grandview or when we've been at Windsor. So I haven't ever had a situation where I went to Cody and said, hey, I want to do this, and he hasn't been able to follow through. So, I mean, hats off to him for being able to do a lot of flexibility in his job as the assigner of officials when it comes to spring sports.
Riley, from your perspective with track and helping out with the track program, I've heard third and fourth hand that they are even having trouble sometimes finding the folks to officiate the track and field events. Are you seeing any of that issue?
No, we probably have the same officials for almost every track meet around the county. Every year. I mean, I'd say there's probably a 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and typically that's the only 4 that you have around the county that do them. So, and it is definitely a shorthand across the board in every sport, and I think that has a lot to do with a multitude of things. You know, I think that one of them is, you know, having to deal with all the fans and situations that have come into play, but more importantly, I think it's just people are strapping to find time to be able to do what they want to do, and there's just not a lot of love for doing that kind of thing anymore. And I think that's a sad situation that we're in, you know. But you know, I hate it because these student athletes are the ones that are going to have to take the blunt of the situation if we can't find enough officials. You know, that these kids lose out on opportunities for games to be played if we have to cut because we don't have enough officials, or you know, maybe even the lower level stuff that has to be taken away. And I think that's just the scary part about it is, you know, that these possibly could go to that where we have no lower level games because we can't find officials for them.
And we've heard these horror stories that Friday night football might become split, where half the games are on Fridays and half are on Saturdays because they don't have enough officials for those games anymore to cover everything on a Friday night. So Ray Halbrook, I'm going to turn it back over to you because I believe it's about time for another break.
Yep.
And then we will go to some questions in these many channels that we're broadcasting on. I think you've had a couple come in. We've got a humdinger of a question for Don Jeffries when we come back from break. That's in the broadcast business, gentlemen. That's a tease. So we got a good question for Don coming up here in a little bit, but I'll turn it over to Ray right now. We'll step aside for a moment.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks so much. Good segment there, and appreciate all of the feedback from all the coaches here real quick. And we're going to step aside real quick. We'll be right back.
What you guys do for Jefferson County sports, it doesn't go unnoticed by the coaches in all sports.
Yeah,
all sports. You know, I have a lot of friends that are head, basketball coaches, and I've been, of course, around Jefferson County all my life and followed all kinds of sports even before I got into the coaching. So what you guys do to help promote it with the kids is unbelievable, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys to take your time and what you do is awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, we try, we work hard, and we think they deserve it. The kids deserve to be able to be seen, and if we can turn out kids in the community to better them, get them in college, and make them a better citizen, that's the key.
This Livestream STL has been a huge asset for Jefferson County sports, in my opinion. I mean, getting these athletes the camaraderie that they're out there and people can see them. I mean, to be honest with you, I got a call from a coach yesterday about one of my athletes that said that they saw some of her games on Livestream STL.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that right there instilled to me that this is important. This is important for those kids. And so, I think it's great, and I wish you guys the best. And if you're out there and you want to sponsor, this is a great opportunity for kids to support kids of our local kids and get them support and get them acknowledgement out there, because we have a lot of great athletes in this county.
We appreciate that. And at the end of the day, our mission is much the same as your missions, coaches, to help shine a light on these kids. And get them exposure and get their name out there and help them. And if they can advance, they're better off. We're better off as a community, and that's why we're here.
And we are back here. Thanks for watching the Coach's Box. It's now time for you guys to get ready for your questions in the comment below section, I guess. And we're going to start loading these up while I take care of the business here for some of our sponsors here. We appreciate folks like Bethesda General Baptist Church. The building where Bethesda Baptist Church meets is at 910 Craig Road in Imperial, but the church is a people who continue to meet the needs and minister during this time. Bethesda is honored to sponsor tonight's show. For more information, give them a call at 314-803-3782, and they'll be happy to help you out there at Bethesda General Baptist Church. Also, Vacations by Michael. Your inspiration for travel never wanes, and your peace of mind, book with Michael, a travel professional. Give him a call, 314-496-6122. You can also check him out on Facebook, Vacations by Michael. Check him out there. Appreciate all of our sponsors, and if you're interested in sponsoring with us for upcoming shows, especially our Main Street Sports show, the Senior 2020 show, you got to give us a call, 314-852-4398, or Livestream STL@outlook.com. Don't forget, we'll be back on the air here Thursday for the Seniors 2020 segment, for Main Street Sports with Jeff Whitener and I. And don't forget also our Roku channel. Go on over to videos.tkdssports.com. You can check out our Roku channel through TKDS Sports. That is $4.99 a month. Pretty cheap considering all the different sporting events that we normally cover. Right now we're covering all shows. So check that out there on our Roku channel. And finally, if you're interested in knowing where we're at, we're at not only on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, Periscope, Twitch, and Instagram, and also the Roku channel. Check them out at Livestream STL. We're going to jump back into our last segment. This is the comments and questions, maybe from the viewers and listeners. And I'm going to open up the line here again. Matt, I'm going to go ahead and let you take these questions if you want.
Yeah, I've got 3 of them queued up so far. First one directed to Mr. Don Jeffries from Jeff Whitener. Don, how's your poker game holding up? Are you able to play online, or are you able to play in person, or are you having to play online?
Pretty slow. You talk about a game that social distancing is not really conducive for. That would definitely be poker. That would definitely be struggling a little bit. A lot of first grade homework. That's what I've been having my hands in most days. And first grade reading and first grade English, and then other duties with school, of course. But in fact, they canceled the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas today. So it's going to be a long time. I would be shocked if they're able to do this anytime before the year 2021.
I would agree with that. So, all right, thank you. And then Donna Blair with a question for the group. As a wife of a coach for several years and mother of one of the coaches on the Coach's Box, how are y'all doing? So we'll start with Riley.
Well,
Riley, how are you?
I tell you, Mom and I have had a lot of conversations about this. From a coach's standpoint, when you go from spending every single night doing something sports related with either your own kids or with your teams or perspective or whatever, when it comes to a completely stopping point, it's a struggle. Your lifestyle basically just stops, and everything that you do and you love to do possibly it just goes away. So I think that for me, I'm staying a lot of busy with homework with our kids and just trying to stay busy with that and, with my job and vice versa. But, I just try to stay in contact with a lot of my athletes. I think that helps me just kind of see how they're doing and talking to them and getting a connection with them and just making sure that they're staying up to doing some things and staying positive, more importantly than anything else. And I think that's what I try to strive for is hopefully that our kids are staying positive and it helps me out knowing that they're, doing some good things for themselves and just trying to stay busy.
And you bring up a good point. A lot of us, our wives and significant others are seeing a lot more of us than maybe they're used to. And then certainly in my case, more than she wants to. And so I'm not getting as much good stuff done around the house as Jarvis. Jarvis has turned into like a Pinterest channel with all the stuff he's doing at his house, fixing that place up and everything. So, Robert, you must do something to stay in the good graces with the missus. That you've got baseballs, baseball cards, all sorts of memorabilia. Early champ in the clubhouse for best man cave for any of our guests that we've had so far. So, how are you doing with being around the house so much? Driving them crazy, or are they driving you crazy? Or
well, she's working from home as well, so we kind of take turns with the kids. I usually take the morning to get all my work done. I call my kids. I kind of let my kids know where they're at in classes. I contact a certain group of players, let them know I'm thinking about them, trying to keep the spirits up. And then I take the kids over in the evening. So this is actually a double whammy for me. So I'm doing this show and I worked this morning. So she said the kids all day. So I'm sure I'm going to walk up to a hornet's nest.
But you haven't had dogs barking, which is an improvement over some of our folks. So congratulations.
We put them outside.
So, Kevin, how's it been for you isolated there at home a lot more than you used to?
It's been different. This time of year, I'm not used to being around my family so much. This is completely different than a usual spring. And so, but, I got a kindergartner and a fifth grader that I'm trying to help them do their work, throughout the day. We have to log in every morning and log out, in the afternoon still for school. And so, I get on and then I, check some emails, shoot some emails. And one thing I've really started doing is I've started trying to work out again to myself. It's getting close to swimsuit season, so I want to be able to, fit into a swimsuit and, not look like Jarvis,
So I knew that was coming.
Come on, Jughead.
Jarvis has been keeping himself really busy.
Yeah. So it's been nice though having a break.
So Jason, you have been keeping yourself pretty occupied. So you still finding honeydews that you get done around the house, or you pretty much wiped that out?
Oh no, we did something today. Dug this ditch out. I'm always doing something. I cut grass today. I'm working at Emos. I'm trying to keep my mind off and not being able to do sports. Playing a lot of horse with my daughter Jillian and my son Dylan outside, trying to get them off the computers once in a while and get them outside, and been shooting a lot of hoops with them. Other than that, I did some renovations here at the house. I have some more to go, and I'm not working on my bod. I'm fine with my dad bod Lucas.
Well, and who knows if Oak Valley will even open the pool this year anyway, so it might be a moot point. But, Coach Miller, I've run into you a couple times when you were in the midst of a project or something. You've been staying pretty busy yourself. You're teaching still, but staying pretty occupied, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if I'm not doing landscaping here around the house, my dad's conned me into going down to the farm. Like yesterday, I spent about 12 hours trying to repair a pole barn. So you guys ever want to, get away from your wives and significant others and want to do some real work, I'll gladly take you for free and maybe, buy you, a drink or two or, a case of Pepsi or water or whatever you like to drink on the way back because, I don't have any money. But at the same time, it's, it's a good bonding trip if you guys want to do that. Anyway, no, trying to get a lot of stuff done like that and just keeping your mind busy and staying active. It's about the best you can do.
And we actually have here's a real question coming in, a good one related to our coaches panel. What does the panel think of the academic relief that MSHA instituted for next fall? Should kids who fail classes still be able to play? So, Don, I'm going to start with you. I'm assuming you saw the missive that they're being asked about here, and can you give us any more detail? I understand what it's about on the basics, but do you have any more details on what that relief was?
Essentially, what MSHA said was basically the 3 credits rule is up to the school's discretion. We haven't talked as far as what we're going to do with that at this point. I mean, when it's something that comes across in a press release on a Thursday, my recommendation is, I think as far as conference ADs, we probably need to discuss this and see what do we think is the best way to go. Because you don't want to be the odd school out that's doing something completely different than everybody else. But this is a very difficult situation for our kids. We got to understand that as well. I mean, some of these kids now, their parents are essential workers, and they're having to watch 2-3 kids potentially. They're almost like the mom and the dad. They're in positions that they've never been in before. So we haven't made any decisions on what we're going to do with that. And I want to talk, and I think it's going to be a major topic. We have a statewide AD meeting every Thursday at 10 o'clock. And the world saw that when I saw that, as far as that press release. And I want to get some feedback on how other schools are going to handle this before we decide how we're going to handle this.
Gotcha. Anybody else? Any other coaches have any opinion they want to put in, or they don't want to incur the wrath of their athletic director?
They all plead the fifth.
It really depends on how good they are. I mean, if they're really good, then yeah, let's just do away with it. But no, I'm sure it'll all get figured out.
Something Don said I think really resonates, and that is, we're not in the homes with these kids, and I can think of 2 that are here in my subdivision that they're essentially taking over as head of household during the day because both parents work. And we're expecting them, in one case, a student of ours, and in another case, a student at Herculaneum. Good kids, and from what I understand, good grades kids, but they've got other little ones that they're looking out for and trying to help them out. So, when I hear Kevin and Robert talk about the outreach they're doing to their students, that's got to be helpful for them to get that sort of support. And I know Jason, Chris, and Riley, you've been doing much of the same. So, we saw it, and I think the reaction at St. Pius was, Don, somewhat similar to you. Is like, well, this doesn't seem like something a school individually should make a decision on, but at least at the conference level, probably needs to be something that is considered as well. So, Ray, are there any other things popped in? Josh Stratton.
I don't see any right now.
Josh Stratton says, has anybody on the panel ever ordered a Zima at the bar while at a coaching clinic? I would assume that's in reference to somebody in particular.
I know who that's about.
So I can assure you it's not me, because I've never.
It's not me either.
Well, I'll open up to that. Josh and I first got my coaching job at Herculaneum. I was on the boys' side, and Josh was my head coach there. And we went to a coaching clinic, and at that time I wasn't really drinking much, and so we went to the bar, and I ordered him a Zima, and he kind of gave me a lot of grief for it. And still 12, 14, 15 years later, he still gave me grief for it. So now I'll own up to that, but I'm not too far behind from Zach McVeigh. Zach McVeigh is also a big fan of Zima, and so I want to give a big shout out to him out there. He's a big fan of that. So
wow,
Zach McVeigh, you have an opportunity to rebut this on the coach's box at any time. We air every Tuesday. If you'd like to come on as a guest,
next week's guest will be Zach McVeigh, right?
And then, there's one other one here. What song request does Robert Kuehnle ask to be played before every home game at Jefferson?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Thanks, Jeff. No, So last year during the 2019 season, my mother passed away on March 29th. Her favorite song was "Walking on Sunshine." So I asked him to play that song, try to get a little heavenly help before every game.
Oh,
very cool. Very cool.
Well, that's an uplifting note. And, Ray, I think we might end on that.
That's good.
I'm Robert, very sorry to hear about your mother, but cool that you would honor her in that way and think of her that way. So it's really neat to hear. But, Ray, I'm going to hand it back over to you. I think we're wrapping up right on the hour here.
Folks, guys, thank you so much for being on. I know I'm going to have a few of you again for Thursday. And appreciate again for all of your input, and hopefully we can continue to do this from time to time and just catch up with each one of your organizations and be able to keep these kiddos and the schools just give them a little bit of love and a little bit of highlight from time to time. And again, thank you guys so much for being on, and we'll catch up with you guys here again down the road. We are going to step away here from the group and say thanks again so much tonight for watching the Coach's Box. We hope that you guys were able to just get a little happiness and hear what's going on with the different schools around the county here. And also, if you're interested in being a part and supporting us, you can sponsor with us here. 314-852-4398 or Livestream STL@outlook.com. Feel free to sponsor with us. And right now we are running a COVID-19 special. All of our shows right now, $25 for your spot, and you actually get 2 spots during the show. So the senior night, I'll say this, that we're hoping to get some more sponsors for this. We want to push this week because we got 2 more days here, but we're looking for some sponsors for the senior night, and that is actually a $50 sponsorship because we're really wanting to push these kids and really wanting to get some sponsors on board for this. So check that out Thursday at 7 o'clock. Again, Jeff Whitener and myself for Main Street Sports, the Senior Night 2020. And again, thanks so much for being with us. We're going to say so long. Have a great evening. We'll see you Thursday night at 7 o'clock for Main Street Sports. Have a good evening.